Well, good evening, folks. How y'all are? I'm sitting here in Branson, Missouri, and I was thinking about some things driving through town and all, noticing how dilapidated some of the things are getting, and how this place seems like a shell of its former self. First time I came here, I think, was in '91 or '92. I was a teenager. Anyway, I remember just having the time of my life as I don't remember how old I was, 13, 14 years old or so. 15, 16, I don't remember, somewhere in there. Anyway, I remember it being just a really fun, family fun town and all, and they had all the old acts that, first time I came here was with my grandparents. I remember it being awesome place. There was music, there was arcades, there was bumper boats and go-karts, and just having a blast. Now, a lot of those acts and all that were here back then passed away, and the people that knew them, like I knew all the acts, like Boxcar Willie and all the shows that were here back then. Ray Stevens had a show here, and I think Yakov Smirnoff had done just opened up here at that time period. Or maybe it was a few years later when I came back. But anyhow, back in the '90s, this place was booming with those kind of acts, and that was, most people came here like people my age. Now I'm 45 years old, so people at that time period came with the grandparents or whatever, and it was the acts of people their grandparents knew, and it was a boom town. The problem with Branson is I believe it grew so fast, so quick, it outgrew itself. And it's based on, first of all, some things I noticed is the dilapidation of just closed properties along the strip, and just entire hotels, big hotels that ain't that old, that were built 20 years ago, 15 years ago, sitting vacant now. And some of them are still open, but there might be like 4 cars for a hotel that has 400 or 500 rooms. You know, I mean, you ain't gonna be open long if that's the case. One thing, prime examples like Vegas, they went through and took out all the old hotels and things, and people were upset about it. But what it does, it keeps the properties fresh. It keeps properties fresh for the next generation of folks coming into your town. And keeps them from becoming dilapidated and having what happens with a property once it gets so dilapidated, the rooms become real cheap. It invites in the addicts, and next thing you know, you got a bunch of old people going to a show dealing with a bunch of meth heads and things like that, and people don't want to do that. So the thing here in Branson itself that I noticed is they never updated along with the times. Now, once those acts from yesteryear passed away and the grandparents passed away, the next generation came to bring their kids and all. It's the same old style shows and same type shows, and eventually that business model just dries up. To me, at this point, I think what I would do if I was Branson is I would try to rebrand, and one of the things that kind of made it happen back then was those old acts, and the grandparents knew them, and they brought their kids and grandkids to come see them and get familiar with them and all that kind of stuff. Well, think about what's happened in the last 20 years. Rock and roll died off. They don't even promote it anymore. Nobody plays it. They won't sign a band anymore. It's all pop and hip hop and crap like that. So if you were to rebrand right now and bring in those acts, like let's say you brought in Alice in Chains or Def Leppard, and had some of these shows that catered to the old rockers of the 80s and the 90s, then people my age would bring their kids and grandkids, and it would kind of revitalize what's going on in Branson and bring tourism back. Because right now it seems like a very dead city to me, and it won't be here for. It can't sustain the amount of people that are here now and how many hotel rooms there are and all. There's no way it can sustain itself. It's got to have a rebranding, and it's got to be brought up to current times, or the city just. It's kind of like it's kind of like Florida. Same thing happened on what is that, Highway 192 or whatever out there. How it just got so big so fast, and then it couldn't sustain anymore because Disney started building its own properties and making it affordable for people to stay on a Disney property, and the hotels couldn't survive. The rooms got real cheap. The attic started moving in, and then it destroys everything. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. If you've been to Branson, if you're watching this video and you've been to Branson, you know about Branson. What are y'all's thoughts? I'm curious to know in the comment section, because something's got to give pretty quick, or this is going to be a dead city. It's dying right now, but it's not so far gone that it can't be brought back. But something drastic's got to happen, and it's got to happen pretty soon, in my opinion. I've been here twice this year. This is 2020 at the time of this filming. This is late September into October, and I came here first in June of this year during the shutdowns and all, when it was completely shut down, just about a few things open. That's why I came back later in the year. But the city is not in good health, you can tell. It needs something big, drastic to happen. So, what are y'all's thoughts? Leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.